Hey guys, Matt here. Just checking in with a Supercoach Round 11 review. Quick check-in on the team, how we're going, and what I want to do with trades. I haven't had a real good think about what I'm going to do with trades yet. I know the players I'd like to bring in. It's a matter of how I get around doing that. It's a very awkward week trade-wise, and we'll look into that in a tick. But score 23.75. I opened this up just before and had a quick look just to see the scores and how the leagues went and things like that. Ranked 1,000, so I think 23.75 is a decent score, and I've left points on the field with a pretty silly captain move in hindsight. Couple of errors made. Yeah, I was a little busy on Friday night, so I've made the wrong call on the vice captain, despite telling myself on the Thursday video who I should pick. I've gone the wrong call, and then didn't even take a takeable score. So just blunders galore this weekend. Still a very nice score, just because the team's so strong at the moment. The full 22 in my team is a big scorer. So luckily that's carried me through. 176. So back in the top 200, gone up 80 points. I think a lot of the top guys got around this score, and now the cream is starting to rise to the top. So we'll see if I can get back into the top 100. Unsure if I can now, but fingers crossed we can get lucky with a few good captain's calls. But for anyone who's been watching the show for a little while now, you guys know that I'm terrible when it comes to captain's picks. My theory's good. I just don't follow it, and I do something else entirely. So that's my issue there. So let's have a look at the squad. No secrets here. I did Mills in the end, and yes, I said I shouldn't pay up, and yes, I was thinking about some other guys. Dale, who got 100, that was good. I thought about Daniel, which I'm glad I didn't do. I think in the end, Mills was the safest call, and he's not on a bye until round 14. So I get the most points out of him before he doesn't play, which makes no sense realistically, because they all play the same amount of games between then and the end of the season. So the logic in my mind is actually makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, I brought Mills in. Before we go the rest of the lines, there's the captaincy. You want to see what I did? I slapped the V on Bont late on a Friday. I had reset the team. I wanted to see if Warner was named. Otherwise, I was going to trade Warner in that week because I didn't want to put Waterman on field, which in the end was only a couple of points different. But I didn't want to have Warner on field, so I would have kept Powell. I would have gone Warner out for Madden. There would have been a bit of switcheroo here, but it would have worked. Mills, brought in Mills at the last second, which was great. Brought in Madden, put him here, and then randomly put the V on Bond. And I say randomly because I told everyone on the Thursday video to go McRae. He averages huge against Melbourne, and he did. He popped off. So why I didn't put the V there, I don't know. And then even more baffling. Well, it's not baffling. I'll tell you, I'll stand by not putting the C on, or not taking this 125. Because last Friday, I had 125 from Jared Lyons, and I had said there's a clear Oliver was going to score against the Crows, and I didn't take it because I said you should always take 125. And what I missed out on was 80 points, 80 captain's points, which ended up being huge for that week. It dropped me quite a bit by missing that captaincy. And I felt the same about Grundy this week against Geelong. Now, that was before Stanley was in, and obviously I didn't have time. I heard the Stanley news quite late. It was too late for me to take the captaincy. It was just too late for me to do it, and I was still pretty sure that Grundy was going to pop off against Geelong. Sadly, he went off injured early in the third. He was probably on track for about 120 odd anyway, so took an L there, sadly. I should have taken 125. As a rule, you should always take 120 to 130. That's what you aim for with your captain. But it's just that there's these juicy scores going around lately, 140s, 150s. And 200 last week. So I felt Grundy was going to go for more, and he was on track for more until sadly he got a really nasty injury, and we'll talk about him in a minute as well. But the rest of the defense, Lloyd's gone off. That's awesome. It looks like he's back. Him and Mills are such a good partnership, and I love having them both now. Laird a little bit lower. It seems that as Sloan is getting fitter, Laird is doing a little less. They probably tried Laird in the back line a little bit earlier today as well, maybe through half back again. The Crows were honourable loss, I think they had there. I'm really happy with where Laird's at. I think he's a really good pick. Everyone should have Laird. Jones, beautiful this afternoon. He's a great player. He'll never lose his spot. Port love him. I really like him. I'll hold him in that position for quite a while. As you can see, Jath is gone, and I'm pretty happy that I've done that. Jath scored about 60 again. I made almost no money out of him because I got him late. I didn't make a loss on him. Technically I did because I made 2 trades, but it's fine. Short and Stewart, these guys are great. So the last guy here that I'm thinking that I want to get, I'm thinking it's going to be Ridley, just because it's a meta pick and it's pretty safe. He's getting hundreds here or there. I'll have a good think about it, and maybe towards the end, if we've got some time at the end of this video, I'll go through the top defenders and I'll have a real think about who I want. I can't think of anyone else other than Ridley that I would like to get, and I'll just ride Jones for quite a while. Caleb Daniel maybe. Nah, he's been up and down. Look, I'll have a look through. There are a few, but I think Ridley's that 6th spot. Then we've got the 8 here. These guys are great. Poulter and Jordan, great on-field choices. Love these guys. Now, Walsh a little low this week. I didn't watch Carlton. They're a bit boring to watch, I think. I don't think they play attractive footy at all. And they were playing... the Crows game was on. I didn't want to join in halfway through, so... was what it was. And what's the go with the AFL doing that, by the way? They have a game start at 1, and then another game starts like an hour in. Like, can't they, 3 games on a Sunday, they can't have them go back to back to back? Is that too much to ask? Maybe? I don't know. But either way, Bond, Oliver, McRae, these guys are unreal. Lions is just as good. This is a standard GWS game for Lions. When I got him in, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to be a slower week for him this week. It's just what he does. I think they must tag him. Ward always plays on Lions or a more experienced player like that, and he just never scores against GWS. So, whatever. He'll be back to his best in the next couple of weeks. By next week, I think they've got. Steele. This is the Steele we know. This is the Steele we expect every week. Who'd they play? Off the top of my head, I can't remember. North. Everyone scores against North. And Steele's no exception. They didn't look convincing, though, but it is what it is. I didn't talk about these two. Good to see them in. My mistake Thursday. Subs don't get named if they're playing. They don't get named as in, even though they should, because if they didn't join the game, I know it technically counts as a game played, but they didn't actually play. So either way, good to see them play. Neither of them did anything to hold their spot. Murphy did a little bit, and he probably will, but Highmore, he's obviously had a role change. The kid is doing no wonders for himself. 36 is generous for Highmore, is what I'll say about him. Talked about the mids. Scott and McNeil. It's good that Scott's frozen at the moment. He may come back and play this week, but sadly I can't fit him in. I should do this just quickly. So the defense will look like this week, obviously, because of the buys. So we've got 6 playing, 2 very average players, and Highmore may not hold. But I'm just going to take this, whatever it is. For those who don't know, you get top 18 during buys. So I've got 6 defenders playing, and hopefully they all get a score. I've got all of these mids playing. This is dirty for the next couple of weeks, by the way. I'm in strife, but is what it is. I can't seem to get... I've got no DPPs on a buy, so I can't seem to get McNeil on the field. I can't seem to get Scotty on the field if he plays. I want to trade Scott. I may hold McNeil. He's made 130k. He's gone down too, so it may be one that I see what happens. I probably should have traded him, but we'll see what happens anyway. Then we've got the rucks. So let's talk about the rucks. Grundy, this is so awkward as far as this injury goes, and we've got to keep an eye on the injury news for this. It was a really bad neck injury. At first looked like a shoulder, which would have been immediately a season, but he's gone off to hospital, and we've just got to wait and see. They won't rush him back. Whether he plays this weekend, I don't know. They haven't really given a time frame yet on the Collingwood website, which is a little bit awkward. Well, it's not a huge... Now, what I'll say about Grundy is this is not a huge deal for the next 3 weeks because it's top 18, so you can afford to not have Grundy play if it's a 3 or 4 week injury. Awkward because you'll have Flynn in the next 2 weeks. You won't have him this week because he's on a bye. So it's not that big a deal, but it will be if he's out for 5 or 6 weeks. I had planned to have 3 or 4 injury trades, and go in that long. I don't want to have to use one on Grundy of all people, especially for who you'd go for. You know, like, what are you going to do? You turn Grundy into Nick Natanui and then have only 3 injury trades, or maybe 2 injury trades for half a season on Nick Natanui, who just doesn't play. You know, he doesn't play every game. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of going Grundy to Nick Nat. This is assuming we have to trade him. So the thought is, I'm going to hold him for a couple of weeks, and we'll know the news this week, how long it's going to be. We'll know by then, and then it's a matter of, if you have to trade him, what do you do? And I think I'll have to have a long think about it. Honestly, I don't like Nick Nat. I'm trying to think of others that you could do. There's really no good choices. I'm sorry to tell you guys. You could stick with Flynn, but scores like this are horrendous. You got Riley O'Brien from the Crows, maybe. He looks like he's scoring nicely. Sean Darcy, I think, is up there. I just hate all of these picks as I'm listing them off. Genuinely hate all of them. The other one is, if, say, Marshall's back the week after the bye's end, I mean, that's just as bad as Nick Nat, isn't it? I traded him out because it was a fail. But here's the thing, it's not a fail if he comes back in round 15 and you're only paying $480 for him. And yes, I had him in my forward line and traded him out, but to take $200K out of Grundy and turn him into Marshall might be a good call. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully Grundy is back by the time we have to worry about that. It could be that we're not cashing out Flynn at all this season and we just sit him here, and if Grundy's out for 6 weeks, we just use Flynn to cover him, and then we cash him out at the very end, and we just don't have Flynn's money, which will be pretty awkward, but we'll see. But what that means is we can't trade Flynn this week. We might be able to, but I prefer not to. And then we got the forward line. Zorko, Zeeble, Bolton, these guys are beauties. Impey a little low, but I'm still feeling good about Impey. I'm gonna eat whatever score he takes. I haven't planned on trading him out, and I don't intend to. Warner, he looked nice. Yeah, he went down again, but I've needed him for the next couple of weeks. I want him to carry through all the way to his bye, and then I can flip him that week. So hopefully he doesn't get rested or anything, and they play him. And Madden, this has been great. That's who I got in with Mills. I think he's a really good pick. I really like the pick. Shout out to everyone who convinced me into him. Who was the other guy I was looking at? It was I don't even remember. That's how on Madden I was. Whiteman from the Dogs, who actually did look quite nice. What did he score? Can you see that here? No. We'll check it in a minute. But he did score reasonably, I think. But Madden was the guy. McCreary may be back this week. And that would be good because I don't really want to trade McCreary this week. And Waterman looks like he's held his spot nicely, which is good. So now it's a matter of what to do this week. And it's a really awkward week for trades because you only really want to trade out either people that are on buys this week for people who are on buys this week. So then you don't miss anything. Because if you trade, logic of that being, let's just say, for example... where's someone that I've got no one I'll trade. Say it's Flynn. Say I am trading Flynn this week, and I'm trading it for someone who's on a bye next week, I'm then missing Flynn's next week's score, and I'm missing the other guy's score. Oh, sorry. The other way around. I'm missing Flynn this week, and then I trade in a guy. He has a bye next week, so then he misses as well. So instead of playing, it's very messy. So you don't want to do too much this week. And historically, I haven't traded this week, and I may not. If we just have a look through before I start to click some trades, I've got the talent to be able to make it through as far as players go. Now, Ned Reeves, I'd like to get him in, and assuming he plays the week after, I will do that trade. Flynn for Ned Reeves. I like him. He did go off injured, so I just want to find the news on him first. I think this is a good call. If he's not injured, this is the best way to get Flynn's money. But we'll wait on that. The other one is Callum Coleman-Jones. I really like this guy for Flynn's money as well, and his DPP. So I'm going to try to get both of these guys over the next 2 weeks. I'll wait on Reeves, but just know that that's the guy I want to do Flynn for, and then I'll probably do someone in the forward line for this guy. Might be Scott or someone. Holmes is the other one. I think he's reasonable. I don't think he's worth getting. Oh, there's Wyman. He got 50. I don't think Holmes has a good enough job security to bring in. So he's not the guy for me, I think. Sorry to say. And that's it. So rookies are so light on this week. And this is why I may not do anything this week. As crazy as that sounds. Look, the only thing I would do is go Flynn to Callum Coleman-Jones if Grundy isn't playing. And then I get a scoring ruckman in Callum Coleman-Jones. He's secured his spot. You can guarantee that. He kicked 4 or 5 against the Crows, can't remember now. Which is great. He's not going to do that every week, but he's going to go up in price. So realistically, that's the one I may do. So let's, for the sake of it, we'll go like this. We'll go back to the team. And I know I said I want to hold Flynn for the Grundy, but that's if Grundy is playing. So if it's not playing, then maybe I'll do that. So this is all highly reliant on a number of things. Is Grundy long-term injured? Yes or no? If they're saying stuff like season and all that, I'm trading him out this week. I promise you that. I'm not holding 600k on my bench. In fact, I would go Grundy to Callum Coleman-Jones and cash 500k out, and I'd bring in 2 premiums straight off the bat. So that's a fact. And then I'll worry about my ruck later. Otherwise, if he's back, or like Collingwood might not even play this weekend. That's the other thing. They're playing in Adelaide, and currently Collingwood are not allowed to come into the state. So there's another spanner in the works. So realistically, I go Flynn for Callum Coleman-Jones. Love the kid. Think he's great. That's early, as crazy as that sounds. I'll go him. I do like Ned Reeves, though. Don't get me wrong. I do like Ned Reeves. But take Callum Coleman-Jones early. I can get Ned Reeves next week for a forward. So let's do that trade. That gives me 300k to play with. And what am I going to do with it? Bank it, probably. Unless I can turn Scott into someone tasty in the midfield. I don't think so. 616. Maybe. Let's have a look. Stats wise. Unlucky. By the way, anyone who had Guthrie this week, bad luck, boys. That's really unlucky. So the advantage I could do here is I could take a buy player. I don't want to spend all my money on this, though, and that's the real problem. Can't afford Parrish. Wouldn't mind doing 3 trades for Parrish. Could do McNeil. It just gets a little awkward as far as the buys go. That sort of business. Could go McCreary. So something I could do, and I hate doing 3 trades off the first bat, but something I could, and I don't want to bring in Parrish a week before his bye either, but it's timed quite nicely. So no. Let's not do that. What I most likely will do is just cash out Callum Coleman-Jones for Flynn and just take the 300k and then use that. And that's that. The other thing I could do is in turn also turn one of these forwards down. There's none to do though, that's the awkward part, and I don't want to cash McCreary out, so I just don't think anyone else is ready to go. Awkwardly, Scott's here, and what I would have liked to do is maybe Scott for Reeves. Is there anyone here who Scott can turn into? Not really. Max Holmes, maybe. No hurry to do that, especially if he plays. Scott. Well, actually, if he plays, that's even worse, isn't it? Because his break-even's huge, if I remember rightly. Awkward. So let's say it is Max Holmes. That gives me 500k to play with. I could then turn, if I wanted to, someone here into someone, but I probably won't. I'll just keep the money. See how we go. Because you don't want... The only round 12 player I want is Hall, and I don't have anyone on a bye this week to turn Hall into someone nice. Nothing's jumping out at me. So that's... Look, I've probably gone on long enough about it, and I'm an R about this trade all week. I don't think any primos will come in this week. I think the team's strong enough to not need premiums. But close eye on Grundy, close eye on McCreary, because that could turn off pretty quick. And what might end up need to happen is, instead of Scott, I might go McCreary into Holmes, just cash out McCreary, because if he's still not there, and then trust me, if Grundy is long term, and I say long term more than 6 weeks, he will go. I will put him out this week, and I'll take his money, and I will go absolutely crazy and turn one of these guys into, say, even a Jordan, into Darcy Parish, because I'm an idiot. But that's what I'll do. But anyway, I'll hit complete on that. That's probably what I'm doing. I don't like the Scott to Holmes trade at all, so that's probably not going to happen. But it's really reliant on what happens here. And I know everyone comes in, watches the video on a Sunday to see what they're going to do, but without Grundy news, there's not much we can do. Callum Coleman-Jones, ideally for Flynn, but I'm really hesitant without knowing what's going on with Grundy. And if McCreary plays. So let's say I do this. I put Waterman on there. So that's 22 playing players, which is good. Not including... Well, including Grundy and McCreary. So it's 20 if these two don't play. And I'll have to have a good think about what I'm going to do with these guys. McCreary, I'd like to keep. May not be able to. And that's about it. So... Oh, and sorry, of course, who are you going to choose as captain this week? I will most likely... I think it's hard to ignore Oliver. Depends where they play. I think it's very hard to ignore how well this guy's tracking. And I'll probably chain that into a Dogs player late. So, McRae. And we'll go like that. That's probably how it'll look. McRae or Bont. It'd be good to see how the guys went, how the big guys went against... Well, how does McRae usually go against Freo? That's probably the best call. Where is he? Not McRae then. Probably Bont, who does pretty well against Freo. Not really sold on either of those two, I don't know. Grundy against the Crows, what does he usually do? I know I've just spoken about him being injured, but nah, no way, not Grundy. I'm not going to go that crazy. Look, Oliver's probably the best go. He went 177 against Brisbane last time. Okay, so yeah, Oliver into him as captain. I'd probably be pretty happy to put the C on him. Worst comes to worst, one of these two. And that's about it. Yeah, so let us know what your plan is this week. Like I said, I'm really unsure about what I'm going to do. I think I am just going to cash out a couple of those rookies. Scott, for instance. Probably cash Flynn out if Grundy's okay. We'll have to see what happens there. But thanks for watching. And I'll chat to you guys during the week. We'll catch up on Team Sheet day. hopefully we'll have some fixtures in place by then, and we'll be able to go through some Grundy stuff and have a real good yarn about what we're going to do with Grundy. Cheers, guys.